Igbo ọma na-ege ntị, anyị ekenekwa unu ọzọ n'ụbọchị uhuruchi nke taa. Anyị sị n'ụkwụ ụbọchị nke taa mara na anyị mma, anyị sịkwa unu ka nke onye chiri ya zelu. Dịka o si dị, ndị Igbo, anyị ji ohere a na-ekene unu riri nne, na-ekene unu ọfụma ka unu si wee na-esoyere anyị na Eastern News 24 maka na onye nwanne ka anyị na-eme, maka ihe anyị na-eme bụ ihe ya adịrị anyị na mma. Anyị sịkwa unu daalụ rinne ụmụnne m. Dịka o si dị, anyị kwere unu nkwa na anyị ga na-ewetara unu ya bụ daily update n'iru akwụkwọ bụ gbasara maka ihe na-eme na ana Igbo na gbasara maka nnwere onwe ndị Igbo na-azọ. Dịka o si dị, o nwere ihe nwanne anyị nwoke bụkwa nna anyị, o nwere ife o kwuru n'iru akwụkwọ. Mma achọ ka onye ọbụla gee ya bụ ife dị mkpa, ọ dị mkpa nnukwu na onye ọbụla ya ege ya. Chief Dan Uransi, o nwere ife o kwuru after Maazị Nnamdi Kanu's court case nke ekpere na 17th of April 2024. Alright, after the incident, so nwere ife o kwuru. Mma achọ ka onye ọbụla gee ya bụ ife, ga-esi ya tinyere your own contribution n'iru akwụkwọ gbasara maka ihe ndị a niile okwu gasị dị iche iche. Alright, over to you, sir.
The People's Democratic Party is one of the main opposition parties in Nigeria, and the quest to provide credible opposition to the All Progressives Congress government is one that the party has been on and has been heavily criticized for. So we'll be talking about all of these issues now. I am joined now, let me invite Chief Dan Ulasi to join me. Chief Dan Ulasi is a member of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and of course is the political commentator. Thank you very much, Chief Ulasi, for. But before we talk about the PDP, there's another issue that I really want us to talk about, and that has to do with the ongoing trial of Nnamdi Kanu. This is one issue that you've talked about time and time again, and I was reading about what took place in court the last time, and it seems that everything has to wait until May 20 again. So what's the position of things right now? Because what we see are just the happenings in court, but behind the scenes, what's happening?
Well, thanks again for having me. I was in court yesterday for almost 4 or 5 hours. And, I think part of the problem in this country, especially as regards to what we're about to talk about, is situational politics. When politics becomes situational, then it is at your convenience to decide what is good and what is not good. And that leads to the very unfortunate description of, stochastic terrorism. Stochastic terrorism is where a person or group of persons are demonized with the terrible word terrorism, and they become terrorists. They are forced to become terrorists. This is what we're seeing. If you look around this country now, the Southeast is relatively peaceful, comparatively speaking. Is it Nnamdi Kanu that is Boko Haram? Is Nnamdi Kanu the bandits? Is he the kidnappers in the whole of the North? Is he herdsmen? So I think our problem has become so, usually theoretical, but now so exaggerated practically, that we are losing it out. If you see what is happening in APC, that is a ruling government, a political party usually midwives a government. And if there is so much recklessness in a political party, you can imagine what kind of government they are going to midwife. So we have very, very long and serious way to go in this country, unfortunately. But like you rightly asked, the judge yesterday, after a series of arguments, wanted the case to start, but we put up 2 serious motions, on bail. Because if you read the Supreme Court judgment, I've never seen a country, the Court of Appeal gave him, almost acquitted him, discharged and acquitted him, that every charge against him was null and void. And government went to Supreme Court. And if there were 10 cases the government put up, Nnamdi Kanu won 9. The only one that happened that they said they should go back to the High Court, to start the case afresh, which is where we are today. How can we go back to the High Court? When the Supreme Court of Nigeria, and our lawyers told Justice Nyako yesterday, the Supreme Court said there was government recklessness in using security officers to stampede his company, his father's compound, with a view to doing whatever, we don't know. And he ran away for his life. And the Supreme Court said he did not jump bail. He was running for his life. If you were the one that lorry loads of military people come into your compound, what are you supposed to do? And it was so explicit, but we started ahead. Nobody knows where we're. I'm telling you honestly, I used to have so much faith and trust in this, so much, but it's dissolving. You know, it's dissolving to the extent that in 1979, most of us were in People's PRP, my good self.
People's Redemption Party.
People's Redemption Party. We only about 2 remaining now at that top level in Southeast. Late Shino Achebe, people didn't know, was a PRP member. Uche Chukwu Merije, SG Koku. So many of us would believe in Nnamdi Kanu with a view to changing the course of history in this country. It didn't quite work out. But at the airport in Enugu, I had said this once on this platform. I asked Nnamdi Kanu one question, and he looked at me. That was the day he made me his special advisor for the whole East. He said, Dan, a people that build cannot destroy. That the Igbos have built virtually everything in this country, and they cannot destroy. That he has always known this from his association with Nnamdi Azikiwe. But he warned that anytime we see serious fighting, bloodletting in the north, that will be the beginning of the end. I felt very sad. And, you know, until recently when Dr. Junaidu Muhammad was still alive, each time he calls me, he said, Dan, do you remember what Aminu Kat said at the airport? Look at what is happening in the northeast, northwest, north central, virtually everywhere. So look at the agitation a few days ago in Yoruba Nation said something. Is it Nnamdi Kanu that is saying that? So I have a statement to make, especially to Tinubu, whom I know personally. For any grievance, for any conflict, for any protest, summary is about unresolved grievance. There are problems that people have refused to address or taking those problems for granted. And this comes back to what I say, situational politics. When it is convenient for them, good. If it's not convenient for them, always. Because when you carry somebody else's dead body, you know, going to bury, you and I will be in a vehicle going to drink.
A banana stem.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. But if it happens to you, you start feeling it. So this conflict of thinking is something this country has to check. And I pray God. You know, I regard Tinubu as a very smart fellow. 8 years as governor of Lagos State, there was nothing we didn't do. We took the other 5 states. He was able to survive. That was when I knew he was a smart guy. We met several in London. And I said, what pushes you? And he would be laughing. And look at it, he's president of Nigeria today. All those who argued with me, they lost their bet. I said, don't take this man for granted. He's already thinking of 2027. Whether we reach there is a different matter. So on Nnamdi Kanu's case, if he has good advisors and they go through all the Court of Appeal said and the Supreme Court said, they should release the young man. I know the last time he appeared in the court, he said if the government releases him, he will help not just to bring security to the Southeast, essentially because there are people using his name to create problems, killing people, maiming people, kidnapping people, then in the Southeast. That is a statement that a serious government should have taken, you know, a second look at. Because if you have many battles going on, that's what Igbos have a saying. If you are fighting in 3 or 4 locations, and you know they are very difficult battles, you buy drinks for 2 of the fighters. So they will be drinking. When you finish with the other 2 battles, you come back to them again. They think you have settled the matter. So, but
by then they'll be drunk.
They will be drunk by the time you get back. But Nigeria is fighting virtually everywhere we are fighting. Diplomatically, politically, economically, there's battle all over the place. And this government has refused to make mention of the disaster that was Muhammad Buhari, a man who shouldn't have, because it will collapse in our hands, and it will be terrible. This is a beautiful country. Only God knew why he put all of us together. Why have we refused to discuss our problem?
I don't want to take you up on that just yet. Maybe not on this particular discussion, but I'd want us to go back and look at something that you mentioned earlier on. You talked about the need for government to take another look at the Nnamdi Kanu situation and find a political solution to that problem. But we also know that, of course, from one of the things you also mentioned, that the Supreme Court had ruled on virtually all the charges that were brought against him, and the only one that is left is the one that is before Justice Yako now. Now, when you say, let us find a political solution to this, what about the court case that is on now, the one you went for yesterday?
Well, you see, for 20 years, America was in Afghanistan with all the military might of America. They disgracefully left the place. Before then, Russia was in Afghanistan for 10 years, and they were disgraced out of it. But that one is different because it's country to country. But now, this is an internal problem. We are not fighting a war with any country. Communities are being bombed. I don't know if missiles have not been fired. There are collateral damages going on all over the country in the name of terrorism. This again, coming back to the word I use, stochastic terrorism, when you demonize people just for perception. I say, I believe you will do this.
Who's being demonized now?
That's what exactly is happening with Nnamdi Kanu.
Oh, okay.
Because all he says is spoken word. Has he waged war against Nigeria? No. All he said did that, the local names. Zik did that. Dr. Chikobi did that. His son, one of the most brilliant chaps in this country, Ansat Mustafa. I have never seen a Northerner naming any of his child Okeke Okafor. I have never seen it. I have never seen it. We are everywhere in this country. Come to Enugu, you will not see one property owned by anybody outside Igbo land. You will not see. Go to Port Harcourt where they milk the oil. You will not see any investment. That is not love. If there is no love, there will not be a nation. People have to show love before you can have nationhood. That is the suspicion, and I refer it again to situational politics. When it is convenient, then we are Nigerians. If it's not convenient, we start looking for alternatives.
All right. Now, these issues are issues that need to be taken care of very, very carefully. I'm wondering if Nnamdi Kanu's release is affected now, like you are advocating for, like a lot of people have been advocating for, outside of the court case, maybe the government files a nolle prosequi or whatever solution is found to the issues that we're talking about here. What does the country really stand to gain from this, if that is the case?
What I'm praying for, let the Southeast not escalate like the Northeast and Northwest and part of North Central, because that will be the end of the news. And when Igbo start a problem, they see to the end. I mean, the Civil War was a reference point. Once you push them to the wall, they don't care. If you have 1 million people in front of them, they don't care. Especially when they are convinced that they have done nothing wrong. So if the person being demonized because of sports, bring me out the hope, lost the hope or the courage to encourage that process.
But Chief Ulasi, let me interrupt you, because when I listen to this kind of assertions, when I have this kind of discussions, I want to ask, are there any moves using back channels to push this argument forward with government?
Well, I cannot publicly make that kind of discussion because it's not diplomatically convenient. But whether something is going on, at least on my own part and a few other people. We are trying to, impress on government that this chap will help them a lot better than they are demonizing him. This is not the government that demonized him. We knew why Buhari did what he did. He didn't start today. From the coup of 1983, the same problem. And you start to ask yourself, why this hatred? We had a coup in 1983. Shehu Shagari was put in a guest house. Ekwueme was put at Kirikiri prison. and he was vice president. And he made a broadcast that Ekweme was involved in every business MPN did. Only General Ibrahim Babangida had to change that when he took over power, that it wasn't true. So I don't know why the man, Muhammad Buhari, it's difficult for me to use the word head, but that's all he has exemplified in all his government. 8 years, there was not a single person from the Southeast in the villa. That's the seat of government. Not a single person. And he even started again with this government. Not a single person in the villa. That is where decisions are made, not in the ministries. You are told what to do from the villa. So what I'm saying is that we should stop situational politics and have a serious engagement control of the bandits. Taxes are being paid to them. We have a federal government. We have a state government. What are they doing? The same thing is happening in Borno with Boko Haram. So the problems are so hydra-headed that you don't see whether anybody is thinking, like we're now discussing about Nnamdi Kanu. What is the origin of these bandits? Did they just fall from heaven? Is there any request they are making that we can discuss as Nigerians? These are my worries, that we cannot afford just to take things for granted and believe that weapons don't solve any problem, especially in one country. It doesn't. It didn't solve the Civil War. Everything that happened 60 years ago are playing out again in every part of this country. That is why there is need for people to sit. When you ask people to sit down, they think it's secession. That is mental retardedness. It is not. I want to know what your problems are. I'll tell you what my problems are. We will have a common point.
And we iron them out.
And we iron them out.
Okay, Chief Ulasi, let's leave Nnamdi Kanu and all of the issues around Yoruba Nation and all of those issues. Let's leave them for now. And let's focus on your political party, the People's Democratic Party. You were the chairman in Anambra State, and you've been in that party since 1999. You were part of those who formed that party. And one critical thing that many political watchers have talked about is the fact that the PDP is too engrossed in its own internal squabbles to provide the kind of credible opposition they think the party should be for years. Now today the National Working Committee of your party is meeting, and there is a contestation for the seat of the chairman, who should be acting national chairman until the next party convention.
Yes.
So what
Well,
are
it's
we...
not the National Working Committee. The NEC is meeting, not the National.
It's the NEC,
The
sorry.
NEC, yes.
My mistake, actually. It's the NEC that's meeting today. And you have all the stakeholders, the governors, Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, Atiku Abubakar, the former vice president and former presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, as well as others, lawmakers on one side. Everybody is just seeking to decide who gets to run the affairs of the party before the national convention.
Article 47, I think subsection 6 of our party constitution says that if Kunle, you were the chairman and for one reason or the other you left office not having completed your term, that somebody else from your zone will have to come to complete it. I had wanted, most governors had asked me to come out to run for national chairmanship. I thought we needed to give this party a new direction. We have lost 3 elections now, 2015, 2019, and 2023. It's no more a joking matter. And if serious leadership is not found, then we have a problem that is going to be cancerous, become systematic, and we can't change it. But it would appear that most members of the party would want us to follow our Article 47 and then find somebody from the North Central, which unanimously I hear Suswan is being pushed forward, to complete the term of Yosha Ayo. What that will mean for the future of the party, I don't know Suswan very well, but he's a top member of our party. Whether he has got, we need somebody with a lot of courage, exemplary courage that you can use, because all political parties, they are the same. 90% of people you see in APC, they're all PDP. the immediate past national chairman of them was 8 years our governor in Nasarawa State. How about that? In fact, the only people in APC that are not PDP is the president and his chief of staff. Virtually everybody else had moved from our party, which shows you that they are not human beings. They are not politicians. I joined the QMA in 1998-99 to form this party. I have not left PDP. They have not given me any appointment, even though most strategic jobs, especially chairmanship of the screening committees in the Northeast, I have been doing one thing good. I don't believe that appointment is the only way you can help your party. Everybody who is a governor then in the Northeast passed through me. That's enough, advantage. But what I'm saying is that the problem that was created during the last convention to get out a candidate, it was very messy. I was the director of campaign for Atiku Abubakar, the whole of the Southeast. But before then, the Southern governors, both APC, PDP, said a candidate has to come from the South. That was why I supported Wike until he lost at the convention, and then I moved my support to Atiku Abubakar till the end, till today. And if I look at the actions of my friend Wike, because he invited me about 2 months, a month to the election, he invited me to Port Harcourt. I spent the night. We had hours and hours of unending discussion. And it's a very courageous, I like people who are very courageous, people who have ability to take decisions, if it is positive. If you have a positive thing to do and you have courage to do that, that's good for the whole country. But as soon as he lost that nomination, you can see the steps he's taking. I'm not being judgmental, but you can't eat your cake and have it. In Rivers State, he put in a government, made sure our party lost Rivers to APC. They thanked him by making him a minister. He's almost created a governorship in Abuja. And then all his legislators in Rivers moved over to APC. So what is he telling us? To believe that the legislators he put in Rivers who have joined APC, and he's working in an APC government, was he still looking for in PDP? If not just to destroy the party. That is where I have serious disagreement with him. Because if he had remained outside the government and is fighting for whatever differences he thought he had in PDP, then we see him as being honest. But you cannot enjoy the privileges of APC. Your members in Rivers have joined APC, and you want me to believe that you're joining PDP. It's not proper. Today, our party will take a decision, and majority, whomsoever the governors and the leadership, especially the stakeholders support, will emerge as chairman, certainly not Damago. It will not happen.
Okay, now you've talked about in Nyesom Wike, a group of 60 PDP federal lawmakers are also saying that no, it shouldn't be allowed to, that they will quit. Now, let me put it this way, that these 60 PDP lawmakers say they will quit the party if certain actions that were taken in the River State PDP or if the doctored list of caretaker committees in River State and 10 other states filled by members of and loyalists of the APC are not reversed. And all of these sound like the internal politics of Nyesom Wike that you've talked about. Now, in some quarters, there has been also talk that all of this constitutes anti-party activities. And they're asking the party to take action against Nyesom Wike. You've talked almost in the same direction now. Is that what you're asking for today?
But he's gotten certain court orders stopping the party from sacking him. We would have taken action against him a long time ago, but there are court orders here and there. The rascality of Nigerian judiciary is playing out. You go to one state, they give you an order, cash kunle or cash down Ulasi. You go to another one, you say, no, catch this person. Look at what is happening with the chairmanship, national chairmanship of APC. This is a government in power. Do you think people will have hope in what they are doing? So what I'm saying is that the members, I was with about 30 of them last night. I didn't go to bed until about 3 a.m. Had serious. If they make a mistake today, I will resign tomorrow from PDP. This is not the party Alex Ekweme, Atiku and others formed. A lot of, youthful exuberance, which are called stupid youthful exuberance. People wanting to be leaders when you haven't shown any example of that leadership. If these kind of comments Wike makes occasionally, it's an unmitigated disaster. That's not how a presidential candidate speaks. Somebody who is looking for the office of the country, the highest office in the land, and you just open your mouth. Look at his greatest crime is to publicly insult the father of politics in Rivers State, in the person of Dr. Peter Odele, a man he calls his father, his mentor, his everything. And because of developments with the person he put in as governor, and he refers to Odele, that man, and to his wife, a retired Supreme Court judge, that woman, and he's still in government. Nobody's talking about it. I regard him now as highly responsible. Unfortunately, if you look at somebody like Dr. Odele and you call him that man, and a retired Supreme Court judge, his wife, and you say that woman, and government is not saying anything, that's very unfortunate. That's not the character of somebody who's looking for the highest office in the land. So all he's doing is either he has decided to permanently stay in APC, which he hasn't done so far, or to destroy PDP with a view to achieving whatever. Because I know he's very ambitious. It will not be long before Tinubu discovers him. He's very ambitious. If he succeeds in putting Damago there, he will resign from government to start preparing for 2027. I know him. He has a lot of money to spend about. He has more than enough to play about with. How they make the money, I don't know. So we will not allow him to destroy PDP. And I know majority of our people who are coming for next meeting today will not allow him to destroy PDP. If he's dissatisfied with what has happened, he has an option. And that option, he's already in the option. He's a minister in the government of Tinubu, so he's not just wandering about with nothing, doing nothing. He already has a second option, which he worked for. And they repaid him with what he did in Rivers,
Okay, just before we go take our social media, or should I say kakaki socials now, I just want to ask you something very quickly. There's been so much talk, a lot of applause for Air Peace, bringing down the cost of the Lagos-London route. The fares have been crazy had been crazy until Air Peace came on. And I read something written by a development banker about 2 days ago talking about the Jeddah-Kanu route that she flew on with some very senior elder statesmen in Nigeria. What's your standpoint? What's your position concerning Air Peace and all the noise that's going on about an international airline conspiracy to knock Air Peace out of business?
I knew you were going to ask this question. That's what
you knew?
Yes, I anticipated that you will ask it. That's why I used the word situational politics. It summarizes the Nigerian problem.
Okay.
If you are not able to open your mind. This is a man, when we had problem in Ukraine, he went to Ukraine to bring back Nigerians. He didn't bring back Igbos or Yorubas or Hausa. He brought back Nigerians. And there were other places Nigeria had problem. And he brought them back free of charge. And this is the first time an indigenous airline is going to London. If we had a government that is talking about productivity...
I think Bellevue did go do the London route too.
Sorry?
Bellevue did the London route years back.
Well, and then it's just, I think that one was just kind of whether they were serious and what they did, because they had not saturated their local environment, and you jumped into... Air Peace has saturated the local and West African environment. You can go to everywhere in West Africa today using Air Peace. So they are at peace with Nigeria and West Africa. Now they have gone to London. What you would have expected a good government to do is to instruct that all civil servants going to London must use Air Peace. That reduces our forex expenditure.
Chief Ulasi, hasn't government shown its commitment enough? The Minister of Aviation was on that inaugural flight, and he's been seen to be solidly behind the Air Peace.
Didn't you read the chairman of Air Peace, what he said? When they came down where they wanted him to park, a lot of funny things were happening with the federal FAN of Nigeria. Wasn't the minister there? Has he said anything? Minister, as it were, he was compelled to be on that flight. There was nothing else he would have done. That a successful Nigerian airline is going to London, and he had to join. But when they came back, I mean, it's common to you people in the press, how they messed Air Peace around. And the chairman was complaining what happened to him. I would have expected the president of this country, if we are not involved in situational politics, to have come out publicly to say all public civil servants going to London, until further notice, must go with airpeace. That saves us foreign exchange, saves us a lot of things.
Okay.
But because we are what we are, we pray that God will have a second look at this country.
Amen.
And
Thank you very
help us.
much, Chief Ulasi.
My pleasure.
I've been speaking with Chief Dan Ulasi, former chairman of the People's Democratic Party in Anambra State, and of course, a political analyst. He's been talking to me about the NEC meeting of the People's Democratic Party that we'll hold today, talking about Nnamdi Kanu's case, and of course, it's chipped in something about air peace and its quest to stay on the international routes. Thank you very much, Chief Ulasi, and
My pleasure.
hope to see you again very soon, sometime very soon. All right, done with Chief Ulasi now. Time.
ndị be anyị daalụ nne na kwunu si na-esoro anyị ya na-eme n'iru akwụkwọ dịka iso wee gee ya bụ ife ịnụrụ ihe the Ballon the Gentle Lion kwugasị n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị nke tata ọzọ dịka ibe ya bụ ka efi nwere ikwu gbasịta maka ya bụ ife ndị a niile okwugasị n'iru akwụkwọ ife okwu olili nne okwu ya dịka o si dị ka efi nwere ike ikwu gbasịta maka ya bụ ife drop ya on the comment section below. Chetakwa na ya bụ Eastern News 24 ka anyị si were wetara unu nnukwu ozi ya dị oke mkpa. Daalụ na ụmụnne m, gwa nke emesịa.